so much for meeting with us. I wanted to ask you a question. I saw that one of your mottos is this idea that every vote counts.
Yep.
We know that in 2018 there was a big push for reinstating the voting rights of convicted felons. So I really want to know, what is it that you have in place or you're thinking or considering to do to ensure that the votes of that particular group is counted and reflected in the elections upcoming?
Yeah, that's a really important issue. As you know, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding that, but the voters of Florida overwhelmingly voted for those people to have those rights. And they also are particular types of felons because they're not violent felons or they're not pedophiles. They're felons that have a future in front of them and should also have a right to make decisions and help, be part of our democracy. So it's very important that they are allowed to vote. As you may or may not know, so the Florida legislature passed some laws that said that they had to pay reparations. And that's a very difficult thing for some of these people. And the other issue was, well, then it went to the appellate court, and the appellate court struck that down. But the Supreme Court then again upheld that right that for the state to make them pay the reparations. One of the challenges that the Supervisor of Elections will face, it's not the Supervisor of Elections' role to determine whether what the legislature passes is right or wrong. It's our role to implement what the law is. But from what I understand, there are a lot of administrative issues around even tracking whether or not somebody's paid it or not. And I think that there are some technology issues. The other thing that's kind of interesting is unless somebody's actually still in prison, the way that we track whether or not they're a felon, we kind of ask in the voter registration form, are you a felon? Well, how you answer that depends upon your own personal integrity, right? And so that would also be an issue, having to track those people that may necessarily be felons and haven't really paid their reparations, but we can't really find out who they are. So there are a whole lot of administrative kinds of issues around that'll be really an important issue for the Supervisor of Elections to really figure out, how do all the old-fashioned systems talk to each other? How do you track it down? And how important is it to track it down for some people as opposed to others? So it'll be a really interesting implementation process.
And I thought that was a really good point that you made, the whole tracking, because one of the big things that I was reading upon it was how you have them, they're coming in, but like you said, that's the integrity, right? How do we vouch for the integrity of the voter? But we also know that we really want to make sure that their vote is counted.
Yeah.
So I think that...
So the easiest way to figure out if those people are actually still in prison that are voting, because those people will have the right to vote as well, but we won't. Those people there hopefully are systems and ways to track whether they've paid their reparations. But once somebody's out, that's a real challenge that we're going to have to face and determine how much monitoring is necessary for that particular issue. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Thank you.